Hello, my name is Heather Aston and this is my channel, TT's Trinkets and Treasures. If this is the first time you've stumbled across one of my videos in this little corner of the World Wide Web known as YouTube, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. I hope that you'll find this video, sorry that was bothering me, this side is bothering me. Sorry. I hope you find this video entertaining and informative enough that you will want to hit that subscribe button and change the notification bell to all so that you never miss the release of a video in the future. When I say entertaining, this is what I'm referring to. It's usually like non-stop blooper reel, but I do try to also demonstrate and teach some different designs, but yeah, it's probably all shenanigans. If you're a returning viewer, I love you, my treasures. Tonight I'm going to do some vegan designs. I was trying to wrap up, trying to come up with a video for today. Every time I went to go live seemed like somebody else was, so I squeaked in here, and then I will have a final design video for tomorrow. This is the 2026 Men's Jewelry Design Challenge. All entries need to be posted to my YouTube community tab in order to be counted as an entry. I just completely lost my feed. Oh, but then voting continues through the 30th of June. Sorry about that. I have a thing that causes memory recall. But, so tonight, as I said, we are going to be doing some vegan designs. I thought that it was only fair. We needed to make sure that there were some designs available for people who are vegan or just don't like to use leather. So I ran down to Hobby Lobby and I got myself some 3.5mm vegan suede lace. I got it in like a light brown, black, and a really nice, like, I don't know if you call it teal or turquoise. We'll go down to the mat and I'll show you. So, see, I can't really decide. Is that teal or turquoise? Or blue? I don't know. It's called dark turquoise. There we go. Hobby Lobby took care of it for me. I didn't have to try to figure it out. So I have 5.5 yards of this, or 5 meters. This is why I always say that a meter is 50% larger than a yard. And you can see that 5 meters is 5.5 yards. So that's how I learned from when I crocheted. You came across that quite a bit. This color is just brown and black. So what we're going to do is we're going to be macrameing, and we're going to do so around the suede lace. Then we are probably also going to do a braided version. It just depends because I could not find flat leather like glue and cord ends. I ordered some, but they're not going to be here on time. Obviously, they're not here on time. But, so, I thought that we could take some of this. Oh, actually, I'm going to do it with this one. Take the turquoise to start with. And I have a corkboard underneath my mat that I will be going in through. I just forgot my seed beads. And obviously, if you like this design, you can always change it from more feminine to masculine. Where did you put them down? You could also do this in like color blocks of your kiddos' birthstones or whatever else. Okay, I cannot find the ones I'm looking for, but I think I might have found some that I will like. Back here on my little shelf. No, those aren't what I thought they were. I have a thing of, sorry guys, I meant to have this all ready to go. Where are they? These with black. Here, let let me just pull out my hammock and see what I have there. That way we can make a decision as to what we are going to wrap with. Those ones are pearls. Not that guys can't wear pearls. Yeah, absolutely can. We're just going to grab some gunmetal because it's right here. I can use the silver on the black leather. Okay, so it's going to be easy. We're going to start at the top. Well, we're going to start about 2.5, 3 inches down, and then we will begin knotting over the top of the suede lace. And we will be putting these little spacers. Pa, pa, pa. Those are not the ones I thought they were. Oh, goodness gracious, Heather. This has been the story of my day all day. Every time I think I have what I need or I'm ready to go, I would go and check and somebody else would pop on live, and so I don't want to take time or viewers away from other designers, especially considering that this isn't like my normal design time. Okay, I have spinel. What about some of this antique bronze with the turquoise? I think that would be beautiful. Okay, I think that's what we're going to do. Unless something catches my eye off my desk real quick. I have some silver over there. Anything from Bargain Beadbox or Beadbox Bargains that I could use. Here, these are just gunmetal ball spacers. Those will be good. That is what we're going to use, so I'm going to gather these back up. Put the other ones back on and put them back where they belong so that... Okay, we have some gunmetal ball spacers, so this will be really simple and really easy. I do have some large hole pearls that I want to use for like the center of it. So we'll do ball spacers down the side, and then when we get to the center, we will add a gemstone. Probably this Amazonite looks cool with the turquoise, or I have these leather or light gray moonstone. They don't have a lot of flash to them, but they are light gray moonstone nonetheless. Or I have larvikite that we can use. Between those, we should be good to go. Okay, grab my gray cording, which is right here. Grab one of my T-pins so that I can pin down the suede. So we're just going to need probably about a 10 or 11 inch section. That's probably a little bit of overkill, but I'd rather have more than not enough, as us designers on YouTube say. Because it never fails. The time that we don't, that's what happened to me earlier. I spent an hour trying to, prepping for this design where I basically did the alternating half hitch knot, and then I combined 2 cords and then did an alternating half hitch knot again, and as you can see, I did not have enough length. I thought I was going to, I did not, but I did not have another 2 hours to spend doing this. Hello, Delon. Hello, Cheryl, Barbara, and Tina. Glad to see you, Delon. I will send over your invoice after this. That's what I'm doing next. Trying to get this done before we leave bright and early tomorrow morning to go see my daughter, my son-in-law, and my granddaughter. Okay, I'm going to pull out like probably, I think a wingspan should be enough, but I'm going to, you know, and a smidge, which is more like 12 inches in this case, but you know. Oh, come on. Why did you do that? I, so much for my smidge. It's like unraveled. I'm just gonna burn the ends. I don't need like a, well, actually I do because I'm going to the bed spacers. I was like, I don't need it. That should be good enough because it's, the ball spacers have a pretty good size hole, and so do the Amazonite that we're going to use. So we are going to gather up our two ends so we can find the middle point of our thread. And if this is too much thread, you'll know by the end of this. Okay, we're going to pull this out, and we're just going to start with a with the square knot. So we're going to take the left cord over the suede, the right cord over the left cord, under the suede, and then up through that loop. Now, when you are tightening up the first knot, you got to be careful not to pull more on one side or the other. Otherwise, you will end up with uneven cords. I'm about 1.5 inches off, but I'm okay with that. So there's our first knot. Then I'm going to go over with the right cord. I'm going to go over the suede lace, take the left cord over the right cord, underneath the suede, and up through the loop. And that will be our first completed square knot. If you ever get interrupted in the middle of a knotting project and you're not sure which side you left off on, whichever side has the little bump, that is the one that you are going to be knotting with next. Just a little tip. I don't want to put another hole in here. I just wanted to keep that. Yeah, there it is. I left enough room to cut a little bit off, but I don't want to have a hole there either. Okay, and then we're just going to keep doing this, and I just want to do one more square knot, and then we will start with our bow spacers. Hopefully they are not too big. That's my only worry about it. Okay, so we're going to take, where did I put them? Your girl is having a day if you don't recognize this. So these are 3mm ball spacers. Just been one of those days. But it's okay. Everything will be good tomorrow because I can go squish my squishy. So. Is that going to be too big? I think it is. Let me see here. Oh. Let me see what this antique brass looks like. We might have to switch the color of our cord up. That goes really nicely. Let me see what seed beads I have right here. I know that I have some. I have these like dark coppery color. Do you guys think that these are too feminine? They would go very nicely. But I don't want it to come across as feminine. Or feminine. I don't understand why there is. Okay. What? I know. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay. Now I may have to melt off a little bit of a corner here to get through these seed beads because they're little. Oh, I don't know if those are going to work. Lighter. There we go. I'm very careful when I do this that like I catch it right as it started to melt. I don't wait for it to like bubble up because that's when you burn yourself and you don't want to do that. It's not any fun. All right, let's see if we can get these on. If gray even goes with these. Yeah, these aren't. Okay, hold on 1 second. I've got to find something else because that's going to drive me bonkers. Ooh. These are 2.5 millimeters, so these should work. I also have black spinel, but their holes are tiny. But I bet these will work. And they'll go with the color scheme. So, let's take all the other ball spacers off that didn't work and try to find one that will. These should be perfect, and I think the copper will look really cool with the turquoise. So I was actually looking for these when I pulled out the gunmetal ones. So those are seed beads. Those ones are put away. These ones are going to be the perfect size. It's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, right? Yes, this is Ceylon or Ceylon. One or the other. It's one of the lawns, as I always say. I don't understand the difference between them. I don't even know how many letters there are. That one is way too long. We might just be braiding leather. Thank you, finally. I got one on this side. Let's grab the other one. I wish I had some this color, but I like the gray, the copper, and the teal. It all looks really nice together, so you have two options. You can either have these here before you start your next. Let me scooch this down. I'm gonna take it off just so you guys can see a tad bit better. If I go off camera, I apologize. Oh, yeah. The thing that I've found though, Cheryl, is that when I do it with like a thread burner, I don't have enough time from melting the end to twirling the end. Like I said, I burn it or I twist it just as it starts to melt. I'll show you. Let me show you just so I can show you what I mean by that. Okay, so anytime you're going to like burn thread, okay? If you do this, you will see how it's bubbling up on itself and scooting back. You don't want to twist it at that point because if you do, you're going to burn your fingers. And it will hurt and it will stick to your fingers, which hurts even more. But when you light it, you get it just as it starts. It's not hot enough for it to like burn you, but you can twist it because you're going to get it's going to become a thicker thread. It's not going to come out like all wispy that's going to break off and all of that kind of stuff. This is honestly the best way to do it. And like I said, I do it before it bubbles. And that's how I save my fingers. So, okay. Like I was saying, you can either put the copper on either side before you start. I feel like this still is not close enough. But I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. Yeah, I promise once you get the hang of it, you're going to be like, why was I afraid to do this? Because I get it. I was too. You hear the stories how Sarah set something on fire during a Michael's thing. So if you do it in between the square knots, you're just going to kind of slowly, you want to make sure that copper bead doesn't go underneath the bottom of your knot. So you want to keep them all the way up there, slowly tighten, make sure it stays in place. Okay, do you see how there's a gap there now? That's one way of doing it. the other way of doing it, just going to pull these down so I don't have to restring them, is to start the square knot. You're going to do one side of the square knot. Make sure that these aren't up in the knot. You're going to get up there where it's good. Then you're going to slide down your spacers. And you're going to do the second half of your square knot. And then these are kind of in the middle. And if I really wanted to, I could have stuck something right there. But I find that the gap's not quite as big when I do it in the middle of the square knot. If this isn't the look for you, which is totally okay, you can also just have another, like you can have the echelon, like a shorter one, with the ball spacers on it, and you kind of crochet around them as they lay on the top. You can also do that with the ball chain. You can like put it on the top and just crochet around that. Or I mean, square knot around that. Here, I'll show you. Whoa. It's kind of a better look for this, considering all things considered. We're still gonna knot with this, but we have to do a little something something in the middle. So we're gonna go back to the very start, and I will show you what we're gonna do. So I want to keep the first square knot, that's fine, but I'm gonna pull out the bottom half of it. I looked everywhere for my 6/0 seed beads, 8/0 seed beads, which look perfect on a project like this. I could not find any that I liked. So you can do this with like the check glass 8/0 with Picasso. The Picasso washes, those look really, really good. Okay, so we have our first little part of the square knot there. We're gonna need to cut one bit smaller, and like I said, this might end up being too much cord. You'll know before we're finished. Where did the gray cord go? Really? I just had it. We're knotting with it right now. It's okay. I have other colors right here. It's not a big deal. I just gotta find a color I'm okay with. Or find the gray cord that I was just using. If my brain will make the connection with my eyes. Where the heck did I put it? It's okay. We can also use there's the turquoise, or we have the lapis. I kind of think the lapis matches better than the turquoise. So I'm just gonna cut like a 10-inch piece of this, if I can find the end. There you are. Oh, you guys, I also did like the market research on other magical crimpers. There's a clear winner, and it's gonna surprise the heck out of you. You can take one of the beading cord, put it up under your echelon, okay? You're gonna put a crimp on, but not like a big crimp. You want a little crimp in this. Well, everything's okay. Sorry. Your girl's a little frazzled, if you can't tell. Okay. grab a little crimp. And I'm going to make it copper so that it blends in. No, it's not. I'll show you. I'll tell you, you can go and watch later. Now, one of them that I ordered said that it was going to be yellow, and it said that it was Eurotool. It did not come yellow. It was another Beadsmith magical crimper, but there is a big difference between this one. Well, not a big difference, but there's a difference between this one that I got today that's sold by Eurotool and the standard one. And the difference is the size of the jaw. This one has that little lip, has a little lip on either side before it goes into where the divot is. This one, the entire thing is the divot. I do not have to use a helper strand. I squish maybe 2-3 times. Even the Beadsmith crimp beautifully in this one. I was actually a little shocked. Leah's like, no, that is a big difference, right? You wouldn't think that it would be, but it is. It's between 1.5 millimeters and 1.5 millimeters difference, or 1.5 to 2 millimeters, difference in the jaw. And so my problem with the magical crimper was that I always got, see at the top where it has that like little lip? That's what I always got, and that is sharp. And so I would get kind of a pretty ball down here, but the rest of it wouldn't be. Here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how easy, well, I'm going to show you right now. Because I'm going to put a crimp on here. No, I should have put the crimp on first. Yeah. I'm going to put the crimp on. I don't want like a lot of leftover. I want this to be very tight because I don't want it to be very noticeable. But hold on just a second. Okay. 1. 2. That one wasn't even necessary. Look at the crimp. That easy. Like 2.5 squishes. And it is more of like a rounded square bead than an oval that you get with the traditional magical crimper. It's crazy to me. I don't have my Amazon store. That's what we're doing. My daughter and I are going to try to figure that out while I'm there. It's the only reason I'm taking my laptop. And then hopefully it will be there. And if it is, you will absolutely, I will put up the link in the video where I go through and I show the different crimps and everything. It's funny though, because in the listing, I was expecting a yellow crimper, and one of them was yellow. I didn't like it. It had even worse, it had even wider jaws than the than these ones do. So yeah, I'm very excited. This is so easy, you guys. See, the hole is just right there. So you don't, there's like no way to not center it. You just put the crimp in the tool and crimp and you're good to go. So it's like really good. Yes. number 2 crimps, just like the regular ones. But yeah, it's crazy. You wouldn't think like that would be the kicker, the thing that like was like, yep, nope, that's what we're doing. Okay, now we're going to try to hold this down with our fingers. It's going to be a bit fiddly for a second. And we're going to do our second half of the square knot. And we're going to do it just as if that crimp is a ball spacer. We're going to pull it through. Oops. Nope. In the middle of the knot, please, sir. Come on, please. Please, please, please work. Why do these things always work when you're not on camera? And then the second you get on camera, I don't know what happened with this knot. Okay, the bump should be on that side. Let's grab this, get things back where they're supposed to be. Once you do this the first time, then the beading cord is underneath the thread. I just wasn't sure I wanted to show this way because it is a little bit more entailed, but there we go. Okay, we've got our copper little bead on top. So we're going to start the beginning of the next knot. And we're going to do so right up against it. You kind of have to be intentional. It's not something that you're going to fly through while you're working on it. This is something maybe you set up your macrame board while you're watching a movie or something like that. Now, if you want to, you could totally do this from like the very start of the bracelet. I wanted to try to get it finished with you guys tonight, so obviously that's a little bit different, but hey, these are for dads, right? And they're a whole different breed all of their own, so they should like it. Or you can do it to where that's on the back of the bracelet. Either way is perfectly okay. And then we're going to start the next one. We're going to thread on the next ball spacer. So you can do this with the beads on the side. I'm telling you, the 80 seed beads are the perfect, nope, Heather, wrong way. Are the perfect size for this. They lay really nicely up against the side. You can obviously do this with any size of the vegan suede lace, or you could go for actual leather and do this, and then you can do more of like a bigger bead or whatever else, because obviously if you're using 10mm black cord, you can obviously put a bigger bead on there. I actually have an idea for that I'm going to try after this, but that's why it's going to be a recorded video, because it'll be recorded. I'm nowhere near, babe.
No, nowhere near ready.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. He made dinner, and now I feel bad.
I'll cover it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Love you. I'm gonna lay down.
Okay, love you too. Okay, we've got the first one. We're going to put a ball space on. Yeah, that might be it. But yeah, I always had that was the problem I always had. And in the video I mentioned that, like, you guys have seen me start knots over again or start recrimp it. And then if you go back and think about it, there's sometimes where like I do the second crimp and I just kind of breeze past it and I don't really show it. it's because I'm not happy with it. And then oh, wait a second. Did I do that wrong? No. Wait. I think I knotted on the wrong side. The wrong direction, I mean. On this one, let me see. I did indeed. I did the first half of the square knot instead of the second half, like it's supposed to be. And I noticed because the little bump wasn't on the right side. Now, if you have ball chain, this becomes much easier because you're not having to slide it on. You don't even have to worry about having the beading wire to put the copper beads on, because they're already in a line, so you don't have to thread them. So it makes it a little bit easier. So if you have it, I have some in my stash. I have a whole box of like 22-inch ball chain necklaces that I just don't use. I think we've used them for our ceiling fans more than I've ever used them for jewelry. And it's just because there are people who use it all the time. I just don't, I don't know. Maybe that needs to be a goal that I work on. Get comfortable using that. Okay. There we go. We're going to do the first half of the next square knot. Like so. Hi, Kate. Oh, I'm so happy that you found us. Oh, you sent me a message on YouTube. You were the only one. I've never gotten a message on YouTube like that before. So I was like, I didn't even know you could do that on YouTube. I got your message the other day. I'm so happy that you're enjoying the series. These will come in handy on any like holidays for Christmas, Valentine's Day, Father's Day, or just because our guys need just because gifts too. Especially when they do things like make you dinner and then don't get mad that you're not ready to eat it. I'm happy you caught me live. I've literally been trying to go live all day, and every time I would come on, I would see like the little dot by somebody that I follow, or maybe don't follow anymore, but I still, that's not who I am. I don't wanna. Sorry, that seated weird, and I wasn't sure as to why, so I'm just trying to go back, tighten this up a little bit. There you go. But this is a really simple bracelet, and obviously you can do this for anyone. It doesn't have to be like, I feel like I got out of rhythm, and I'm not sure where. It's okay. It's artisan, right? It's not supposed to be perfect. Isn't that what we tell ourselves? I'm so type B in so many areas, but when it comes to designs that I might sell to somebody else or give to somebody else, I am type A all the way. Just like when I'm organizing my beads, get them all nice and neat, get way into the process, and then the first time I use them, but I'm trying to get better about that too. But you can use any color combination, guys, and you can use any beads that you want. Like I said, if you were doing this as a Father's Day gift, you could do the birthstone down the center. Yes, exactly. Designer's choice. I do have a good husband. He is. He really does take care of me well. There are times, I don't know if you've heard the Pink song, True Love, where she says, I'm so mad. Just where she's talking about how she wants to kill him, but then at the same time, she wants him. She never wants him to leave. Yeah, that's sometimes. Steve heard that the other day it was playing, and he's like, oh, that's what you're gonna dedicate to me, right? That's gonna be your vows if we ever renew our vows. And I was like, no, kind of. I don't know, maybe. You want to make sure that you're not going so tight that this starts to buckle. You can see it's turning a little bit, and that's just because I'm so far down away from where I put the pin, which I'm going to have to push this up so you guys can continue to see what I'm doing. We're just gonna, for time's sake, we're just gonna do like, I don't know, 4 inches across, just enough to go across the top of the wrist. Like I said, you can start this at the beginning of the lace and take it all the way down, which would be perfectly okay. Oh my goodness, come on. I'm just trying to do this for time's sake. I was so mad that I didn't knot enough cord for that other design. It took me like an hour to knot it. And I was like, that's okay. When I'm done with the small knots, I'll be able to go. And I thought 15 inches of the knotted was going to work. And I don't know why. Because I cut like, I think 72 inches to do the original knots. So I should have been, I don't know. But I got very frustrated because then I couldn't do my, I wanted to show you guys that. Do the first half of the knot, and you see how it's starting, like the first part of the knot is starting to loosen up before I can get the second half of the knot up there. If you just kind of tug on it before you pull this one tight, when you pull this one tight, then it will, it'll tighten up the knot above. Okay, we're gonna put, you just have to like remind yourself, like bead left side, right side, bead left side. Just to make sure that you're doing the knots correctly. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Bernie loved that thatched chain bracelet so much that he's like, can you make one for me like this and with this clasp and da 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 da. So I'm gonna do it, but he's gonna give me some good beads for it, that's for sure. He took the first one that I did that was a little bit smaller because his girlfriend has a tiny wrist, so. Pull this one tight and then that one tight. And when I say tight, I don't mean like tight. Like don't pull it too much or you're gonna buckle a little bit more. Once we're done with this, I'll be able to stretch this and I'll show you how to get it to relax so it's not turning like this. If you have a macrame board or a jeweler's tray, which I used to have one, I don't know where it went, and you can clamp both sides of the suede lace, it'll be a lot easier. I should have pinned down this other side, not so much that I couldn't like get under a knot with, but it would be easier. See, I'll just kind of stretch the knots a little bit and it'll settle down. Okay, time for a bead, and then I'm gonna measure this. I think we got about another inch to go. But how is everybody else's weekend going? Do you guys got anything fun planned? Did you do anything fun today? Oh my gosh. 72 years. Right, exactly. Divorce, not a verb. Murder, perhaps. Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly it. But yeah. My grandma passed away 15 years before my grandpa did, and he never dated, never had any thought. They originally had 2 plots, and then the cemetery started giving the option for a dual plot where one's like on top of the other, and so he switched it to that. And gifted the other one. But yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to have at least another inch. I only have my great big huge ruler right here, but it's okay. Oh yeah, at least an inch. This would probably be perfect for my wrist, but when I did the video though, I literally had like my hand like this. For the crimper video, so you'll be able to like see exactly what I'm talking about, the difference in it. I was shocked at how fast it knots or squishes. Like the yellow one that I got actually broke the crimp and damaged the wire, and is like the epitome of why like traditionalists are like, no, you cannot use the magical crimper, it damages the wire, da 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 da. That's a perfect example of what they're afraid of. I will tell you though, I have cut both a crimp that I did with the magical crimper and a standard crimp off the wire, and both of them have the same amount of wear and tear on them. So, in case you've ever been afraid of that, like, oh, it's going to damage my wire, da 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 da, they both cause the exact same type of wear. Oh, I asked this, I think I asked this yesterday, or maybe I just asked it in the comments on Becky and Jenny's live. Have any of you guys ever like taken a job restringing a pearl necklace for somebody? Cause I was at Bernie's and this lady walks in and she walks right up to me. I don't know if she thought I worked there or what, but she walks right up to me and she said, oh, do you by any chance reknot projects? And I was like, I don't work here, but I could do it, yes. And then David came out and asked, and I said that I would, it's 100 pearls. And I said that I would reknot it for 50 cents a pearl. And she was ecstatic, handed me over these pearls that are like 4 generations like all this stuff, handed over to me. Here's my number. My granddaughter's birthday is on next Saturday. I'm leaving on Thursday though. Can I have it before then? And I was like, sure. So the lady left. And then David, and then subsequently 3 other customers came up and were like, you didn't charge enough. You should have charged way more than that. And I was like, oh. They're like, you better at least charge extra for the cording because those cords are like $6 a card. And I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, I plan on doing so, but yeah, I don't know. So I was just worried, like, how many times have you done it? If you've never, oh, thank your family for your service. I appreciate that so much. That's awesome. I'm telling you, this one is gold. I don't know. I will tell you that, like, if you have bigger hands than me, this might dig into this part of your hand. But if not, it's so easy for me to use. Like, so easy. So, the link will be in the description of the video, but I can go and grab it right now, though. Amazon orders. My orders. Uh-oh. My granddaughter's snackies were delayed. I have like her favorite little snacks that are on like automatic reorder. I'm looking for the crimper. Ergonomic. Okay. Where's the other one? Hold on, let me just type in crimper. See why one isn't popping up. Okay, here are the ones. I'm gonna tell you they're more expensive, guys. Just know that ahead of time. They are more expensive. But this is how I feel about the situation. Yeah, her favorite are these little waffles that have like, kind of like Pop-Tartish filling inside of them. And like even her parents think they're delicious. So they're her waffles, and those are her favorite, and they've been displayed. So those are like $30. When I bought them, I had to pay $25, and there was shipping. But this is the way I feel about it, though. Okay. Every time that second crimp didn't look right, I cut it off, and I restrung it. So then, every time I didn't like my first crimp and cut it off and started again, I wasted a crimp and I wasted cording or stringing wire. So, can you get the magical crimper, the original like Bead Smith magical crimper sells for I said magical crimper. Why are you showing me hair tools? That's so weird. Why did it do that? Thank you. Oh, they're not actually that bad. So the crimpers by themselves are $20. If you buy them with the crimps, which I don't like, and a spool of stretch flex right, it's $35. So the ones that I got were $30. Or in my case, $25 plus the shipping. And I like them so much better. You're going to waste time. You're not going to deal with any of that. But exactly, you save time and materials. Because I've got to hope that I can find a project to use that excess string on. I often do. But if I don't have to worry about that, I'm a happy camper. Both of the crimps like that I did with the original magical crimper and with the yellow one, they had like these weird like bumpy details on one side and the other side would be smooth. And it doesn't matter. I could go back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth, and I could never get it smooth. So these are $10 sooner, but are more expensive, but they're absolutely worth it, in my humble opinion. And I don't normally recommend products until I've had it for like forever, but I did, I went the wrong way, I think. I literally did 20 crimps and every single one turned out using that crimper. And because it was such a huge difference for me, there's the knot. Okay, here we go. Wait. I did the knot above this one wrong. I went the wrong direction on this one. You get back up here, sir. Because I was talking and not paying attention. Okay, we're going to go this way. I'm going to do the one. First part of the knot. And then we're going to go the other way. Okay. I think we're just about done here. Like I said, oh, I'm not down on my mat. I'm so sorry. Goodness gracious. Yeah, they always look like gunky on one side. And if you think about it, and go back and watch any of the videos where I crimp, you will notice that I never show you the second crimp. Because I don't like the way it looks. So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do one final square knot on here without anything, without putting a ball spacer in it. We're just going to do a complete square knot, and this square knot is kind of our insurance policy when it comes to the rest of this. Okay, we're just going to cut off the excess cord because we don't need it. I kind of should have, nope, don't get the S-Lon. Okay, there we go. We're going to pull it out of here. We're going to take this, and like I said, we're just going to kind of stretch it, like, and I'm only doing this because I already stretched this suede lace, so I know it held that pretty well. Okay, so you're definitely not going to need a full arm's length unless you're knotting the entire length of the bracelet. So I did like a wingspan and a half, I think, and I have like 24 inches left over here, so you don't need to do all that. Once you have your final, what the heck just happened? Okay, once you have that, then you're just going to cut off the side, leave a little bit. I do not go to the other side until this side is melted down. Now, you can do this part with a thread burner if you want. I like to do it this way because I have something to push that in with so I don't have to touch it. You're gonna... I probably should have crimped this one too, because it's not staying under the S-Lon. Okay, do as I say, not as I do. And go ahead and crimp the cord, the soft flex, the same way we did at the beginning. Okay, that way you're not going to have the issue I have where this popped up. I should have done that. It was not smart of me. Then I'm going to cut and do the other end. Again, do as I say, not as I do. Which, that's not normally the way I do things, the way I operate, but okay. And then I could not find, I really wanted to do this on 5mm, but I could not find any. And then, like I said, the class that were supposed to come didn't come today. And now for some reason, I don't know why I picked copper, because I don't have any copper ends. But it's okay, we'll just use silver. But once you have measured this, you're going to see this is a little too big because this is for a 5mm and this is a 3.5mm. I'm sorry, I tried to order the product. It did not get here in time. So, I have the 5mm. You're going to measure the length that you need. Then you're going to cut the excess lace. You're going to put your cord ends on the end, squish them, and then add your clasp. Or you can leave the longer length and you can macrame around the back and just tie off the ends in a knot. So yes. Yes, it just is yes, it's absolutely just the generic one. That might be the wrong link. Hold on one second. I might have sent you the wrong link. Just a minute. Because it should say Eurotool. So just a second. I might have given you the wrong link. That one says brand generic. Okay, let me go back. Okay. No, it is the generic one. It's not the Eurotool. I was wrong. The Eurotool was the yellow one, and I already returned it. So it is the generic brand. I apologize. Yes, I always do a dab of glue as well. You're absolutely correct. Sorry about that, guys. It's not the Eurotool one. The Eurotool one, I think. Let me make sure. Yeah, no. The Eurotool was the yellow one that didn't work. I don't like it. So you need the generic one. So there you go. Oh no, I just got it today. So I just said the wrong one. This one is the Eurotool one. And it's the yellow one. So the one you want is the one that says generic, but it's not actually generic. It comes in a Beadsmith packaging. I don't understand why. Anyways, I know this video is not up to snuff or the way that I typically release videos, guys. It has just been one thing after another all day today. And I was waiting for the order to come in with the clasps, and it didn't come. It was delayed. Not sure when it's going to be delivered. That kind of junk, which drives me bonkers. They shouldn't advertise that something can be delivered at a certain time if they're not going to be able to deliver on it. You know? It drives me nuts. Okay. Also, I have some large hole beads. So, we have Red Creek Jasper. I have 6 and 8 millimeter as well as the English cut and the Amazonite. So I could do a variation of shapes. I could go with the English cut to the 8 millimeter English cut 8 millimeter round. I can do that one. I have Howlite. I have Red Creek Jasper. I actually, he had one strand of Tiger Cherry Quartz large hole beads in matte. So you know these are going to be used in the other design series. Those are coming up. Which one do you guys want to see? I can do any of them. And I have black and I have brown leather. I've got all of it. So, if you want to see like the varied shapes where I go from English to round and back and forth, I can do that. I can do the 8 and 10 and alternate with that. Like I said, I have the moonstone. I have some peach moonstones. Beautiful. This is pink zebra jasper, the one bead that I thought was missing out of all of the bundles last month. I kept waiting for one of the value bundle or the companion bundle to have the pink zebra jasper, but it didn't. But you know your girl's gonna use it, so I just need to know which ones you want. Okay, you want the Red Creek Jasper? Alright, we will grab out some Red Creek Jasper, and I always pull out way more than I need. If I could only design with one bead, one gemstone for the rest of my life, it would be Red Creek Jasper, because it comes in yellows and greens and blues and browns and reds. And the pictures are beautiful, and I love it. Okay, we are going to grab some, let's do it with black. 2 millimeter black leather cord. Actually, we have some cut. We literally got back from Hobby's Lobby and I said, oh my gosh, I forgot. There was the gray cording. Twit. Anyways, of course. And I was like, oh my gosh, we forgot the buttons, babe. And then he walked out and all of a sudden he saw this sitting on a table in our room, which has plenty of buttons. So I like this one for a guy's design, but this one is broken, I think. See, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that out. Nope. Dang it, I love those buttons, but I don't have any more. Oh, fun fact. You don't actually need a button. If you have the end of any toggles, because maybe you don't like toggles, so you use this end as like an earring component instead of a toggle, you can always use a toggle on the end of a leather bracelet. You don't have to use as large of a hole, especially if it's a wide, long one. It goes in very easily. That's why I like this button. I just need to order some more of them because it's easier. You don't have to put as big of a tool. So you can always use these. So let's go ahead. I'm going to use one for this. I just need to decide which one of these I want to use. There is silver. There's a, it's not exactly gunmetal. Yeah, maybe it is. We'll use that. You guys will like the way that this looks in the end. Okay, we're gonna take this. Oh no. Okay, we're going to 1.5. Or we'll just use the brown I have right here, so I don't have to dig around for it. Okay. So see, this was the toggle for this clasp. Now I have this for a beautiful earring. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Elise. I am good. I hope you are as well. Okay, we're going to cut our leather. We're going to thread the leather through the toggle that we're going to use for our bracelet rather than a button. For those of you, there are so many in our community that hate toggles, don't use them, da 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 da. There are a lot who do, but there are quite a few. So whenever I can show you guys another use for them, I try to. Okay. Your girl just needs to find her barrel knot tubes. I hid one underneath my mat for emergency purposes. Not this is an emergency, but you know what? It's a craft emergency. Okay. You're going to put the tube. I'm going to put it at an angle. That's the way I like to do it best. It keeps me closer to where I'm trying to knot. I'm going to go around once, twice, and because it is a toggle, I'm going to go around a third time just to make it clear that that's like the end of the bracelet, I guess. So I can always move it down. You can't always move it back up. Okay, I'm going to take my pin. I'm going to go through the little toggle bar hole to get it pinned down. I will pull this down for now, and then I will push it back up when I need to. And since we are using the 1.5, we can actually put both strands of leather through. At least I did so earlier. But of course that was off camera, so you know, it doesn't count. Really? There we go. Gonna pull the bead all the way up to the very top. I don't know why I did that down, because I need to do barrel knots. Okay, now we're going to come to the end of our leather, and whichever strand is longer, that's the one that needs to go on top for the next knot, okay? So this one, right? That was the one that was longer? No, this one was. Okay, so this one was longer, so then the next barrel knot you're going to tie it with this side. That way you don't get one that's way longer than the other. The other option is to have one strand that's like 10 inches long and the other strand like 1/3 to 2/3 and only knot with the one cord. Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate that. Cindy and I got up to some shopping shenanigans yesterday. Both her and Delon. I did personal shopping for. The packages are ready. The labels have been created. They will be dropped off on our way out of town. Okay. Then we're going to put our next bead through. That one was already kind of a reddish one. Let's go to this. Look at this. It looks like there are like little leaves and branches on it. Isn't that beautiful? If I didn't know better, I would swear this was like a painted bead, but it's not. Or it was at one time. Depended upon your beliefs. But look at how pretty that is. Sorry, I had to geek out over the bead for a second. I picked it up and I was... Okay. This one, come on, I really want to use you. You're very pretty. If you didn't want to do this, you could keep one strand out. And I will have to trim this leather every so often because the end is going to get weak. I accounted for that when I pulled out my leather. I'm sorry, I should have said that. But this is the way to get a nice like leather bracelet that doesn't have the excess cord, that you're not knotting around. Oh, drinking game. Other time Heather says N-O-T instead of when she's nodding. We all take a drink, right? Isn't that what we decided? Ugh. Oh, they're even this time, so it doesn't matter which side I use. Go around once, twice, and you could obviously do 3 wraps if that's what you prefer, but yeah. I've never had that happen. I did, however, think that I had some spam the other day as well. So, I'm gonna let's go ahead and grab a gray one now. It might be time to cut the ends. They either become weak or they become skinny so you don't have to fight with them anymore. One or the other. These ones are like, I'm done, lady. So I'm gonna cut off about 1 inch on both ends, and what I should have done is cut one at an angle one way and the other at an angle the other way, so when I go to put them in, they start out looking like an arrow, like that, and then they go into the bead easier, and then you don't have to like twist as much because they're already almost all the way out. See? Oh. Pull the bead down and into place. Figure out which strand is longer, which it is this one, so that's the one we're going to put on top. You are not with. Put your tube at an angle. Take the top bead underneath the first one and over the tube once and then twice, always traveling towards the hand that isn't wrapping. You try to go the other way and put it through, it's not going to work. Oh, I did it again. I know, honey, I'm so sorry. So sorry. Go back to a red one. Make our leather into an arrow. I'm sorry that sometimes I don't give these tips until a bead or two in. I don't always remember them until I need to use them. And then I'm like, okay, dummy, why were you doing this? Why were you doing this the difficult way? It's so much easier if you do it this way. And you can see by going right up against the bead like this, you guys, I have very little tightening to do once I pull the leather out. So see how tight my knot already is? And then you don't have to do much of anything. Should have scooted that one up a little bit, but it's okay. There we go. there's not a lot of like tugging. So then your leather doesn't get all stretched out or anything like that either. So, let's find another. Let's do this one. It's just tan, but that's okay. See, that one went almost all the way through. That's what I don't get about the whole sizes they give, okay? Why can I put 2 strands of 2mm leather inside a 3mm cord in? Doesn't make sense. Math doesn't add up, but you can. Okay, which one's the long one? It's this one. Grab your barrel tube. Hi! Oh, good. That makes me happy. Girl, you know eventually you're going to have to stop being so stubborn. That's all I'm going to say publicly. But I understand. I went through the same thing. Didn't want to go that route. And then I didn't have a choice. You guys want to see the beautiful pendant that Delon picked out? Oh my gosh. It's so pretty. Look at this. Nope, this way. Wait, that's not the one. Where's the stuff from yesterday? That was one of mine. She got one that is very similar to that, except it looks like, see how this is all like wispy and cloudy? Hers has one that comes up from like the center and it looks like there's just a fireball coming across it. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. I did talk him into unstranding the, like, cutting open that strand so I could get the other one she really wanted. Plus one I really wanted, but, you know. Yeah, he's like, you don't need to do live sales. You should just do that. Then we don't have to guess what people want to buy. You can just say, okay, here I am. What do you want? And walk them around the store. Cindy, I will tell you that your free gift with purchase was specifically chosen to kind of get you out of your comfort zone a little. It's just a hematite spacer, but it's a color I've never seen you like talk about or whatever else. So I got you a strand as your free gift with purchase. Because I think once you start using it, you're going to love it. So, see how much longer this lasted after I cut it? Yeah, I'm going to take care of that right now. Don't worry about it. Ready, set, bye-bye. She did this yesterday, just in case you're wondering why I just did that. She did this yesterday. She went on and 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 on. And then it just became apparent that it was spam. And so, but yeah, so that's why it was ironic when she brought up supposedly getting spammed. I was like, we couldn't find her on Facebook or on YouTube. She does not have a channel on YouTube. It is a spam account. So, I don't want anybody to think that we're being mean. I did my due diligence. I went and looked the name up. I went to that account. I did all of that. There is nothing. So, oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all. You didn't know. It's perfectly okay. It took us about, I don't know, what, 15, 20 minutes, Leah? But yeah. I had an old lady that swore just rubbing coconut oil on her body helped a lot. She was one of my very first customers 3 or 4 years ago. And she passed away, and her daughter called me and was like, I have some of the stuff that, she bought from you to make jewelry. None of us know how to make jewelry. So if you want it, you can come pick it up. And I was like, okay. And she goes, you know what? We're doing the wake, like a family dinner. Not tonight, but tomorrow night. Would you like to come? We all feel like we know you because of how Mom talked about you. I was like, so we went. It was very nice. I redid a couple of pieces for them that I had made in their mom size. But she was itty bitty by the time she passed away. So I redid. There were 3 sisters. They each picked. The necklaces weren't a problem. It was the bracelets. They each picked 3 bracelets that they really liked the designs of, and I remade them for them so that they fit. And I finished up a couple pieces that their mom had been making so that they could have those as well, because it was right before Christmas time and they were supposed to be their Christmas gifts. So I happened to know what she was gonna do because we talked, just like I talked to you guys. But yeah. Oh, that's bringing stuff up. Both of my grandmas passed away. One when I was 15 years old, and the other one when I was 17. So I didn't have a grandma. And she kind of helped me with stuff. Not just ordering stuff for me or whatever else. She was, okay, this end is done, but I got a lot further on those 2 strands than I did on the first 2 ends. But yeah, she helped me a lot to deal with some childhood traumas and whatever that never got addressed. So she was great. Beverly was a wonderful lady, and I miss her so much. So, as I tell everybody, you guys have heard me say it on my channel beforehand, God weaves us in and out of the fabric of each other's life, and we get to decide what kind of thread we're going to be. I've had some burlap woven into the fabric of my life. But yeah, we get to choose if we're silk, if we're sparkly, if we're, whatever we are. And the only one that can make that choice is us. It's literally a frame of mind, and the only person that can change that mind is you. So, I also told somebody, yes, I told David, you cannot expect more out of somebody else than you're willing to give yourself. So if you're not putting forth the effort, you can't expect somebody else to put back more effort than you do. But there's also another balance on the flip side of that, and that is that if someone is expecting more out of you than they're willing to give, then you need to righten that balance as well. You shouldn't be letting people have that much control over your own life. So. Aw, thanks, Michelle. Yeah. Well, yeah, and I can block them and then go ahead and, I put her in timeout yesterday just in case. I was like, I'm gonna give her what, the benefit of the doubt. And then I start seeing her talk about spam. Yeah, and then I can just go and ban her and delete all of her comments. All of her comments from yesterday, today, all of them are now gone. Okay. Okay. I was afraid I was running out of leather. Oh, wait, oh, that's not red. But, yeah. No, she had us going for a good 20 minutes yesterday. Leah caught on the fastest. Leah was like on her like white on rice. She knew you ever have a question about something like that, go to Leah. She's the best. She's also the one that you call when you just need to laugh. Even if you have to cry before you get to the laughing part, Leah's great. She's amazing. She does everything without expectation, which I appreciate. Because oftentimes, most of the hurts we get in life are based on expectations we may or may not have the right to have. So, but she goes through life and does for others without expectation. Like, I don't give my kids advice. It doesn't come with expectations. They're going to do one of three things. They're going to follow it. They're going to alter it to fit their life better, or it's going to go in one ear and out the other. But I also know that my opinion carries weight with my children. And if they're afraid to talk to me about something, then they're never going to hear it. So I had a total come to Jesus with myself about 3 or 4 years ago. I had to say, yes, they're my kids, but they're adults. So, quick question. Why don't your chat comment strings show up on the replay? It's in the platform. Okay, so it should be there. If it's like you can't go from the regular comments to the live comments. Oh, you picked up on the fact that she was spam, Leah, before the rest of us did. That's what you did. That's all. Yeah, I'm trying to get there, Leah. I'm trying to get there. You're helping. She's helping me learn to set boundaries, and that setting boundaries isn't a bad thing. And sometimes doors need to shut because they're not good for you. But she's great. She's a great listener. And always has like feel your feelings. Okay, let's move on. She's great. I love Leah, if you can't tell. Okay, I'm going to do one more knot here, and then I'm going to do a knot for the clasp, and I think we're done. So this is what a leather knotted bracelet looks like, where you don't see anything else. If you don't have large hole beads, you can still do this. You'll just need to have, oh wait, no, you can't do this. You have to have large hole beads to do this. What was I saying? Oh, why did I put that on before I knotted the last one? Okay, I have one more bead to put it on, and then I'll do the clasp. This was 36 inches of 1.5 millimeter leather, in case I didn't say that, or you weren't here in the beginning. There we go. One more knot, well, 2 more knots actually. If you prefer triple wrap barrel knots, then you're going to need to have at least 6 more inches, if not more. I'm going to glue this knot, and I'm not going to leave any tail ends because I cut things close. So my tail ends are a little done. But you can see you don't have to put a very large clasp because you're using the toggle cord. I'm going to squish it down just a little bit more. And I'll go in and condition this with the mink oil, and it will, this part is no good. That's why I said I'll probably cut it right at the knot. But this just has a little bit of wear and tear, and if I take some, so see, that's the part that I'm okay with. Otherwise I wouldn't have put this bead on. See how this part is like tore up? That's why I don't want to use it. If I put mink oil, it would still look okay, but mink oil will completely conditionize and not fix, but like strengthen that leather. Yes, I will glue before I cut, so yes. Bernie absolutely did. Yeah, he was like, Heather, you need to do all of that. You need to do that with everybody. So, yeah, he did. He gave you some great deals on some very nice beads. I promise. I think you're going to be really happy when they get there. Okay, so let's go ahead and clasp this. Obviously, if I had more leather, I could make this adjustable by having a couple of spots like this. That way, when my customer got to the point where they know what size they needed, you can always just cut off the ends. The extra clasp things right there, I can't talk to save my life today. We're about 7.5 inches. Obviously, the leather is going to relax, especially once I use the mink oil on it. It also was just knotted, so, but I'm glad you said Jasper, because I really like the way that turned out, so. No, this is not too big, because you have to remember the width of the toggle. So I had it a little bit smaller, but then I was having a hard time, see, and you don't want that because guys are already hard on their jewelry. But, so the toggle bar needs to have enough room to go in, and then, maybe I pulled that one down a little bit too far. But because I picked a wide toggle clasp, it's good to go. And like I said, there's so many of us that just don't like toggles. If you knew how many toggles I have in my stash, it's ridiculous. I don't do it. But this for an earring component, oh heck yeah. All day, every day, I will use this as that. It's beautiful. You could just put a earring hook on it and call it a day. So, and the clasp isn't bad, or the bar's not bad. It's a nice bar. So like, that's one way that I use stuff that's in my stash that I don't use. I'm going to take some GS Hypo, which I got out. Ha 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 ha. Really? See, I got too confident for a second there. This is the furthest I've ever gotten into a bottle of GS Hypo, though. There we go. They either want it breaks somewhere, or like I've had the needle from the cap go through the side of the bottle so much. You just have to kind of squish it down every once in a while so that down here stays full, and then it doesn't like get crunchy like this, which I need to do. Where do you find the barrel knot tube? Mine is so much longer. on Amazon. Yeah, I really like this one because you don't see any other leather. It's just the knots in between the beads. You're not like going around the outside and square knotting. You're not doing it where the leather or the bead is on one piece of leather, but then the other strand is like visible on the outside of the bead. Just make sure, I would recommend looking for beads that the hole size says 2.5. Now, this is 2 millimeters all day, every day. This is not a 2.5 millimeter hole. And I was able to get the 1.5 millimeter, both strands of it in. The making it arrow at the end is the key to it. Now, because it is for a guy, we're gonna glue. See, this is what happens every time. But it's fine. In order to make sure, don't get mad, yes, hypo doesn't bother me, Leah. She gets mad. I'm allergic to adhesive. And I have little fingertip guards that are silicone, and I always forget to put them on. But because I can, like, Elmer's glue, as long as I get it off right away, I'm okay. GS Hypo is kind of like rubber cement, so it does not bother my skin. If this was, like super glue, it would have already burned my finger, and it turns gray or it peeks through. Yep, there you go. Easy, easy, easy. Yeah, they're very simple. I'm going to let this dry, and then like I said, I'm going to cut it right at the end. I have found that a lot of male customers, that is what they prefer. I like to put the glue inside. It does dry clear. I just figure that it's got to be a whole heck of a lot stronger inside the knot than on top or bottom. Like, I don't understand how that, it's never made sense to my brain. So that's what I did. There we go, ladies. Day 20. I will have a video for you for tomorrow. Yeah, exactly, Cindy. Yeah, but you use them for earrings, and then you have all the bars, and you throw them away. Another really good way to use them, especially if they're like a branch or they have a leaf on them, like this one. You can take a bird bead and put it on here. You're just gonna do a little wire wrap around there, bring it up, put the bird on, do another loop, and then it looks like there's a little birdie sitting on a branch, and it's really cute. Yes, yes. People have used not spaghetti, but people have used penne. I've seen people use like penne. Or there's one, I think it's called bucatino, which is like a thick spaghetti, but the middle of it is hollow. I've seen people use that as well. Funnily enough, I can confidently say that 4 out of the 5 people were Italian. So, oh, do you guys like this better than the blue? I think it just fits me and my personality better. It's not that I didn't like the blue. I do. It's going to look gorgeous. And on our living room windows, we also had 4 panels up, and that was too much. Like, I could not slide this open and shut when I needed stuff. But I kind of like the terracotta, which this is the one my daughter told me to get her. But yeah, Bucatino isn't that big. Okay. Oh, we have an Italian in the house. All you needed to know that is the Zio at the end of her last name, right? Yeah, you can't use that for 2 millimeter leather, but yeah, this is 1.5. I'm just saying, I've seen people do it. But if anybody needs to know what kind works, ask Catherine. Oh, rigatoni's huge. You're not, do you know how long you would be sitting there, like, tightening it? Kelly sometimes would use, like, she would use, like, a tube bead that had, like, a 3mm, 2.5 or 3mm hole in it for 1mm leather. And she would sit there and, like, yes, you have to go slow. Yes, you have to. And I'm like, just use a smaller tube bead. But that's me, so. I always will find the quickest, most efficient, cheapest way to do something, but I still want it to look good, so there you go. That's the one I have. Yeah. Yeah, you just want to go, I think these, let me measure these. I'm going to guess that they do it in millimeters, but it's just under 1¼ inch. It's like 1 3/8. It is 3 centimeters exactly. So get a 3 centimeter flat tube bead, metal tube bead. If you're in a pinch, you can simply take 18 gauge wire. You can do 20 gauge too. I just feel like the 18 gauge wire holds better. Here, I will do one. I'll do it with 20 because that's what's right here. But just cut off. Yeah, no, I'm not doing this at 20. That's way too. I just don't. I also had 16 ounce, so. You're just going to pull out a strand of wire. And depending upon which one you're going to do, this is a 2mm barrel. The step 1 is 2mm. Let me get all this other stuff out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. This one is 3 and then on up. I like to go around the small one. It works good. I go right to the tip. That's not flush. I will tell you guys that I know I always tell you that you can do it after, but when I'm doing it off camera, where did I just put those? I found all my glass files, which are the ones I love to use on wire. It works better, but if you're in a pinch and you have a nail file, I just recommend kind of doing the ends a little bit. So this is just about almost an 8-inch piece of wire. Oops, sorry. Pixie, why are you all out of sorts? And I'm just going to wind it around. But as I'm winding, I'm pulling. And the reason I'm doing that is because I am work hardening it. If you get it and the coil starts to separate, push it back down, because you don't want that. That creates a weak point. And you can see how tight I'm doing it. I have to like wiggle it off the barrel. But I'm doing that on purpose. Because then, even if it gets a little out of whack, it is more like memory wire at that point, or like half hard wire. So this is probably only an inch, so you might want to go 10 inches. I'm a freak. I can't leave waste on anything ever. Nothing irritates me more than when I'm watching somebody's video and they cut off this like huge 1/4 to 1/2 inch of wire at the end when they didn't need to. Okay, I'm going to take it. I'm going to go to this end now. I'm just going to knock down the sides so there are no sharp points that are going to snag or rip my leather as it goes through. And you have a barrel knot tube. As easy as that. And 2mm fits in here because that is 2mm barrel, even though I work hardened it. This end. Why do you gotta make a liar out of me, leather? It works. That end was just, you can see, it goes right through. But, like when you hold it sideways and you're knotting, if it bends a little bit, you want to be able to bend it back into shape. So, this is a really good way to know that whichever one you're using, whatever length you like, the 3cm really is the way to go. That's the length that I like. It is my go-to. This one is only 2cm. So you figure I had 8 inches, so you might want to cut 12 inches. Because there's almost 8 inches, that's 4 inches per centimeter. So, and if you start off and it's too long, cut it off. Cut a couple of, hey, you just got some 2mm jump rings, right? That's all you gotta do. Cut a few off until it's the right length for you. So maybe start at 4cm and slowly work with it until you know what size works for you, and then you can order them confidently, knowing that when they get there, they're going to be the right size and you're not going to have to return something or have something in your stash you're not going to use. Because I'll be honest, there's no way in heck that I'm using one of those straight. Where am I going to put this in a design? No, that is not burned on my finger from the clip. But that way you know which. Because I'm not going to use this. Like, it's ridiculous. You have a problem cutting? Okay, I'm going to show you. There are a couple of tips that I will tell you about cutting jump rings. A, get your strongest scissors that are really sharp at the tip. And all you're going to do is make sure that you start with one cut flush. Then you rotate your pliers the other way. You go right to where you can see that it is, and you clip it off. You roll around, you cut off the little part to make it flush, flip it around the other way, and trim it. If you are having problems only cutting the one piece of wire, and so the next ring is getting marred by your cutters so that it doesn't look nice, all you need to do, I learned this from Samantha. That is 16 gauge and way too thick for this. But Linda says that she taught this to Samantha Latimer. So I've seen a lot of people do it though. I don't think that it was like, just like my hybrid loop, I'm sure other people have done it. You're going to cut a length of wire. You're going to make it into like an L and then turn it sideways. You're going to put it inside your tube. You're going to bend out the first one ever so slightly, just enough to get the wire between it. And you just turn it. And it will separate the rings for you. However thick of wire you decide to use is how far apart the rings will be, obviously. And you just keep going, and when you get to the end, the last one's always a little tricky. You have them all out, plus I have actually done this for a design because I thought it looked cool, and I just did a loop on top and a loop on the bottom. I don't know, I'm a weirdo. I thought that looked really cool and would make a cool link for a necklace, so I did it. And then you can go in, and then you have room. So you're going to cut this one, then you're going to turn it around, get right up against that other piece, cut it. Get this side, turn it around, cut it. I will show you, that's not it. I cut a whole bunch of them today. and you just shimmy them right back together. If you can do it without doing this, you don't have to like reshape it as much. Like you can see right here, I barely have to move it to get it to where it should be to be a closed jump ring. So, but to each their own. Some people like it spread out. Some people like it. Oh yeah, you could. Oh. Now we have some ideas. You could use these inside of large hole beads. That would be so cool. You would just keep like the very end of the wire straight and create a loop. Same thing on this side. You would start turning like your coil. You leave the very end straight so you can do a loop. For me it would be a hybrid loop. You could, if you're using 18 gauge, you can definitely get away with a simple loop. I just am not a fan of a simple loop. That's just me personally. It's just not my go-to when it comes to that, but I also don't always like wrapping it 3 times. But I will tell you, it is just as strong. I promise you that. I will show you in case you've not seen my hybrid loop. I bend my wire at an angle. I do not keep my pliers vertical or horizontal. I go directly into that curve. Up, over, and down. Turn it, and I pull it back. This one, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap it 3 times. Because I want to show you how strong the hybrid loop is. I haven't done this for a while. Why can I not see any pliers? Because you have leather all over your desk. Oh wait, I can't do that yet because I want to link them together. So I'm doing 18 gauge for both of them. I've done this all the way down to 24 gauge. I get the same result. When you get to 24 gauge, sometimes the loop gets a little distorted, but it does not come undone. Okay? Oh, I could have finished this one because I'll just connect the next piece. So I'm just going to wrap this around the industry standard, which is typically 3 times on both sides. I like to cut my wire on the side so there's not a front or a back to my designs. Then I'm going to come over here, straighten this out a little bit, bend it, do the loop exactly the same. I'm just going to go up, around, and down, rotate, go around. Now I'm going to open this up and I'm going to connect it to the other loop. Then I'm going to close this. I kind of need my... And I'm just going to curve around 1 time, until I get back to where the loop originally started, which is right here. Again, I cut on the side. Come on, don't be a pill. That wasn't a toddler throwing themselves on the ground, shooting itself across the room. Okay, I have a pair of pliers in this hand. I have a pair of pliers in this hand. They have the same amount of strength. This one has not moved. This one has not moved. I was white knuckling it. I know my knuckles are always white, but you know, it's just as strong. So if when you do links, you don't want 1 bead on here with 3 wraps here and 3 wraps on the other side, you can just do this once. Plus, then you're not doing the extra motions. I don't like simple loops because no matter what I do, I can never get a simple loop. First, I don't think they're strong, and that bothers me. So I don't like to use them. But that's way too long, Heather. Put it on the side of my finger. We're going to trim right there. And now I'm going to roll the simple loop. And of course it came out perfect this time. Okay, it worked this time. Normally, that's funny, my simple loops come out like that. And then I have to go and bend them back into shape. And that's wear and tear on the wire that I don't like. Of course you get a perfect simple loop the one time you didn't want to. Murphy's Law, right? Anyways. Just so you guys can see. There it is. Alright. I love you, ladies. I need to do one more thing before I go to bed. I hope you all have a wonderful night and a great Father's Day. I will see you guys. I'll be driving back on Tuesday, so I'll probably see you guys Wednesday night. Beth will be on Sunday for me, as well as, I don't know why that just went back down, on Sunday for me, as well as Monday morning. So, as always, and until next time, guys, happy beading.